FM, AM 1400, The Patriot, talking to you about your American dream. And we're sitting with Ron Thompson, Thompson and Stewart PC. He's an attorney, real estate planning, tax strategies, a certified financial planner, and even a real estate broker. So we've got a lot of opportunity, a lot of leadway to talk with Ron and Shawn Locke with Title Partners. I appreciate you guys being on with us. Now let's move this along here a little bit, because as a seasoned attorney and real estate broker and et cetera, you've seen a lot of investors get involved in real estate. And so have we, and seen a lot of people do really well at it. But, would you say it's for everyone?
It's not for everyone. I mean, we all can agree that real estate is a great investment, and if handled properly, it can really do well. And frankly, a lot of people use real estate as a diversification tool in their portfolio because typically, absent 2008, real estate typically moves inverse with the market. So usually if you've got at least some real estate in your portfolio, that's a good thing. But as you know, Paul, as a real estate professional, the problem is if you get into rental or investment real estate, you really need to understand what you're doing. You need to have good advice and good assistance from professionals to make sure you don't miss anything and you don't get yourself into trouble.
Because there's a difference between I'll call typical investments and real estate investments. For instance, typical investments don't need the maintenance that real estate investments, right? What are some of the differences between?
Correct.
Yeah, give me some of the differences there.
Well, and I would tell you, as a certified financial planner, I would tell you that real estate has a couple of tricky aspects
Sure.
that other investments don't, and you understand all of those. For example, it requires active management. The example I give clients are, you're never going to have to go collect the rent on a mutual fund. You're never going to have to go evict a mutual fund.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Or fix the hot water heater on a mutual fund.
Correct. And of course, real estate also comes with strict liabilities, So,
Yeah.
For example, a lot of people don't understand they've got a tenant on that property. Tenant's not going to think about some of the things a homeowner's going to think about, like, gee, the rail going down to the basement is loose. Maybe I should tighten it. And then, the renter has his uncle, who's a brain surgeon, going down the stairs, slips and falls and breaks his neck. You as the owner, if it's not structured properly with a limited liability company or something of that nature, you're going to get sued. So those are two aspects that are really critical. Not to mention the fact if you have rental property, commercial or residential, as you all know, the laws are very, very tenant friendly in the state of Michigan.
Yeah.
So you really have to make sure you're in compliance with the Security Acts, with the Truth in Renting Act. There's a number of things where even the font on a particular lease and a particular provision might make the whole lease void if it's not in the right font.
Yeah, listen to that one more time, American Dreamer. The real estate attorney, Ron Thompson, Thompson Stewart PC, just said something that really kind of shocks you when you first hear it. Mm-hmm. That is to say, the lease agreement could be null and void if the font in a particular little segment there is not the right kind of font. This has really been held up by a court of law.
Well, I'll give you a real live example. I had
Yeah.
a client that had a security issue with a large national landlord in a large complex up in Mount Pleasant. And I looked at the lease and realized that the provision referencing the Truth in Renting Act didn't have the appropriate font. And I contacted him. I said, if I don't have a certified check for the full amount of the deposit tomorrow morning, I'm suing you for all the back rent. I had a check the next morning. So yeah, the Truth in Renting Act is pretty unforgiving. And a lot of standard provisions that you see as a real estate professional in documents, for example, attorney's fees. Asking for attorney's fees under the Truth in Renting Act is absolutely illegal in a residential lease. So there's a lot of things that if you get a snap-off lease from the internet, you're really digging yourself a hole you might not be able to climb out of.
American Dreamer, real estate is such an important part of American life. To get yourself into a home ownership situation where you're no longer throwing money down the rental hole, where you can build equity in a future, what I call a foothold into a future financial freedom through ownership. And even in real estate investment, so many people have done really well over the years with real estate investment. But it's not for everyone, and if you're going to be involved, you want to make sure you have the right dream team of experts to help you with your American dream so that you're sure you have your not overexposed, your liability is taken care of. So stay tuned. We're talking with Ron Thompson, Thompson Stewart PC, real estate attorney, and we're going to be right back.